December 7th, 1941, a Sunday morning. Across the paradise of Oahu, Hawaii, America was sleeping peacefully. Sailors were enjoying their breakfast, jazz music played softly on the radio, and the warm Pacific sun was just beginning to rise. No one had any idea that the biggest turning point in modern history was just minutes away. But out in the vast empty waters of the North Pacific, a massive threat had been quietly moving under the cover of strict radio silence. Six Japanese aircraft carriers, packed with hundreds of deadly warplanes, had traveled thousands of miles undetected. An attack was coming, one that would permanently rewrite the map of the world, shatter American isolation, and plunge the globe into total apocalyptic warfare. But to understand why this tragedy happened, we have to look back at the simmering anger that pushed two great nations to the point of no return. The story doesn't begin with bombs, it begins with oil. Throughout the late 1930s, Imperial Japan was rapidly expanding its empire across Asia, conquering territories with brutal military force. The United States watched this aggressive expansion with a growing alarm. To halt the Japanese war machine, America took a devastating economic step. In the summer of 1941, the United States imposed a total oil embargo on Japan. For the Japanese military, this was a death sentence. Japan imported nearly 80% of its oil from America. Without it, their massive navy would grind to a halt within months, and their empire would collapse. Japan felt backed into a corner. They believed they had only two choices: surrender their imperial ambitions or launch a desperate, preemptive strike to crush the only force capable of stopping them, the US Pacific Fleet. Out of desperation and fury, Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto masterminded a top secret, highly dangerous plan, Operation Zed. Around 7:55 in the morning, the peaceful Hawaiian sky suddenly went dark. It wasn't a few rogue aircraft, it was a massive wave of 353 Japanese fighters, bombers, and torpedo planes attacking all at once. The surprise was absolute. American soldiers woke up not to the sound of reveille, but to the terrifying thud of explosions and the rattling shake of machine gun fire. Chaos erupted. Torpedoes sliced through the harbor, tearing open the hulls of massive battleships lined up like sitting ducks in Battleship Row. Then came the definitive tragedy of that morning. A massive 1,760-pound armor-piercing bomb penetrated the forward deck of the USS Arizona, detonating her ammunition magazines. A catastrophic explosion ripped the ship apart. In just 9 agonizing minutes, only 9 minutes, the pride of the American Navy was turned into a burning, watery grave, taking 1,177 of her crew down with her. Thick black oily smoke choked the sky. Pearl Harbor had become a living hell. When the smoke finally cleared, after 2 hours of relentless bombing, the devastation was staggering. 2,403 Americans were dead. 188 aircraft were completely destroyed, and 8 massive battleships were either sunk or severely damaged. The entire nation plunged into deep mourning. The military leadership in Tokyo celebrated. They believed they had broken America's spirit and brought a superpower to its knees forever. But in their haste and caution, the Japanese commanders made a catastrophic mistake that would change the outcome of World War II. Admiral Nagamo, fearing American counterattacks, decided against launching a crucial third wave of bombers. Because of this, Japan failed to destroy the massive Pearl Harbor oil storage tanks, the submarine docks, and the repair workshops. Millions of barrels of fuel remained untouched. If those oil tanks had been destroyed, the American Navy would have been forced to retreat to California, unable to operate in the Pacific for years. Instead, the lifeline of the Pacific Fleet survived. The very next day, President Franklin D. Roosevelt addressed a furious nation, calling December 7th a date which will live in infamy. The sleeping giant had officially awoken. The America that had fiercely fought to stay out of World War II vanished overnight. Millions of young men rushed to enlist. Factories began working 24/7, turning out an unstoppable flood of tanks, planes, and ships. Japan wanted to destroy the American spirit, but they ended up uniting it with a fierce fire of resolve. That fire burned so fiercely that less than 4 years later, in August 1945, the war ended